In this very brief video, you will learn how to incorporate APA into the research exhibition, whether you are building a poster or whether you are submitting a digital presentation via Blackboard VoiceThread. With APA, you're required to cite your sources in two places. So you are presenting borrowed material, and right next to that borrowed material, you need to add a parenthetical citation, also known as an in-text citation. In general, this includes the author's last name, the year, and then the page or paragraph number if it's a direct quotation or a paraphrase of a very brief section. If it's a summary, then you can simply use the author's last name and the year. So that's the in-text citation right next to the borrowed material. The other place you need to cite is in a references list, where you provide a list of full citations of all those sources. Now, when you are building a poster or you are creating a presentation, APA is a little different than how you might use it in your paper. With a research paper, there are lots of specific rules you have to follow, and a lot of those don't apply to a poster or a digital presentation, so I want to just clarify some of the confusion that you might be experiencing. For example, some common APA rules that you most likely know and that you are always sure to follow when you write a paper is the font has to be Times New Roman size 12, double-spaced, black, that kind of thing. Now, with a poster or digital presentation, the design elements are actually more important than those types of rules. So you should follow whatever color scheme you're using. I would not deviate the font. It's even okay for the font to be much smaller than the actual rest of the text in the presentation or on the poster. When you have a slide, whether you're printing it out for the poster or if it's a slide for your digital presentation, you still need to incorporate the in-text citation. So you can have information that you borrow, such as right here, and then make sure that you incorporate the in-text citation right after it. If there are two sources that you are citing in one brief statement, then you can separate the in-text citations with a semicolon. So these are actually two separate sources, but both provide this information here. So make sure you include the in-text citation right next to your borrowed material on the slide. You also still need to have a list of references. They should be alphabetical. That rule should still apply. However, you don't have to follow the font, style, and size rules here. When you're building a poster, you want the majority of your poster to actually be content and not a list of references. So it's okay if your references are pretty small. The font size is pretty small, but you still need to include that list. I would still use hanging indents because it separates the citations from each other really well. So I can see wherever my citation begins on the far left, that's a new citation. If you're submitting a digital presentation, then I would put your references on the very last slide. And I would try to fit them all into one slide, so even if you have to make the font really small, that's fine. For a poster, I would keep the font pretty small so that it's not taking up a whole lot of room, and I would probably try to put it in a corner or somewhere that is not going to be a major focal point of the poster. Every full citation in your references list should have a matching in-text citation somewhere in your poster or digital presentation. They should all match up. You shouldn't have any extra references without an in-text citation and vice versa. If you're not sure how to cite, what all goes into a citation, what order it goes in, that kind of thing, I have a separate video describing that process. If you have questions about APA citation or about the research exhibition itself, then contact the library.